Today we're going to be unboxing an item I got from Louis Vuitton that is a little bit unknown, a little bit controversial, I might even say. There's a story behind it, but you know, behind every controversial topic, there's a story to tell. Stick around. Hey there, welcome back to my channel. My channel is about treating yourself to a little bit of luxury, whether that be your cup of coffee, your favorite fragrance, your skincare, makeup, what have you, handbags, all those things that make you feel a little bit better about yourself because you deserve it. You do. Any little thing, please do. If you like talking about things that make us feel better like that, consider subscribing. Like, comment, all those things down below. I'd appreciate it, like having you around. So want to chat. If you hear a lot of scraping, it's my pug Pickles that's not happy that she's in here locked in with me. I normally don't shut the door and she's just like, what is happening? What is this traumatic thing? But we're just trying to keep the noise to a minimum. But I digress. So today we're going to be talking about an item I purchased from Louis Vuitton that I'm really intrigued by, but it's been out for a few months now, and when it was released, it came out to some press, I guess that's the word I'm looking for, some press that didn't have it in the best light because of the debut. Came out with this exquisite box, they claim, exquisite box that was supposed to take you on a journey through the senses and explain to you how the world of Louis Vuitton fragrances come to be. And just a little bit of, insight and background on the nose behind the Louis Vuitton fragrance brand, and just kind of focusing on that world. But to everyone's not big surprise, that initial launch came with a very large price tag and very out of most folks' budgets, and almost a little bit, dare I say, ludicrous in my opinion. But I will insert a picture of what it is, and I'll insert a link down below to one of my favorite creators and their opinion and review of the set. And that's super Jacob. He's very knowledgeable, by far more knowledgeable than I am on perfume and fragrances, but he spoke about it, and while I was very much intrigued, there was no way in hell I was going to be buying that set. But the book that came with it is what intrigued me, because I do find that pretty fascinating. And I did want to learn a little bit more about the fragrances and everything behind it, because several of my fragrance favorites have been discontinued. And I thought maybe if I learned a little bit more about the history behind them, hopefully they are in this book. I don't know. I haven't opened it yet. Do not know, but Cat Descartes and Contrement are two of my favorite fragrances from Louis Vuitton. I was very disappointed when they discontinued them, and I hope they come back. But I just wanted to understand a little bit more behind maybe their thought process, how they created their fragrances, what led them to possibly make those decisions to no longer sell what I believed are two of their most popular fragrances. I thought, at least from the circle that I seem to run in online, they seem to be very popular. So I was very surprised that they would get rid of two of what seemed to be very popular scents out there. So it's a little bit intriguing. It may be just the ingredients, and that's something that this item does go into. So as I mentioned, the initial release came with a coffret, basically, of the individual notes or components that make up the fragrances. 45 distinct components. So that wasn't really anything that I needed in my life per se. I would have been more fascinated had they included small vials of the entire fragrance line. That probably would have intrigued me more as a selling point of having a large coffret of all of the fragrances, because I only have about I have more than half a dozen. So I have about 8 of the LV fragrances, and there's several more I don't have, and I do not have any of the extraits that they have as well that have come out, like Cosmic Cloud, and I'm blanking on all of the rest of them that have come out recently. So the really pretty Frank Gehry shaped bottle tops to them. Their Symphony, I think it was the other one. So there's several of that line. Myriad, that was the one that was the most recent one that I find intriguing and not that much more expensive than the traditional. So I think they're $550 as opposed to the $320. So I guess relatively speaking, finer ingredients probably. The bottle is nicer, I guess in the grand scheme of things, if you want to say it that way. But nothing that was really over the top, making me want to get those items. So had they done a large presentation of every fragrance that the house had released, that definitely would have intrigued me. I'm not sure if it's $5,000 would intrigue me, but it certainly would intrigue me more than just having vials of, lavender or, geranium or jasmine or whatever have you. While that's very interesting, it doesn't make the fragrance all together. They're just individual ingredients. So it's interesting. And if you're very much, a chemistry nerd, that might be a little bit more intriguing. I think I'm going to have enough of that information in the book. So I didn't see, the connection there to really get that type of presentation. Now, the book itself is not cheap. It's $160 directly from Louis Vuitton, and there are 3 different cover options through Louis Vuitton. I, however, purchased mine from Amazon. So Amazon had only one version of the book, and they are a discount, so $120-ish I got, and I had Prime free shipping, so I got it, actually overnight. I purchased it yesterday and it got here at 4 a.m. So relatively quick service. Louis Vuitton would go actually slower than that. So we were going to drive up and pick one up at the boutique because I actually wanted a different cover than what Amazon had, but in the end I would rather save the money than the cover. That didn't really bother me in the grand scheme of things. So I picked up the one from Amazon, saved some money, and I think I'm going to be happy with the purchase because it's quite an interesting concept. Now, one might ask, why would you want a book? I'm waiting for that comment down below to tell me, why are you getting a book? Well, I was born in the 1900s, and in the 1900s we had these things called encyclopedias, like Encyclopedia Britannica. Before Google came along, we had encyclopedias where we found everything out and looked up everything. So I used to read those. I had a whole 2 different Encyclopedia Britannicas in my house, and that fascinated me as a young child to read those and just learn everything I could about any given subject out there, and that kind of stuck with me. So I've always had this kind of fascination with these type of books that go into detail on a topic. So I was just obsessed with libraries and reading and everything as I was young. So this one, that's why it intrigued me so much. So, your mileage may vary on what you may spend money on. I found this would probably be worth it. Now I might open it up and go, okay, well that just basically the glorified picture book, it's not even worth it. But from the previews I could see, I think it's going to have enough information there that was going to make it worth it for me. But I know that there's some other folks that maybe this should have been like $50 at most, but again, it's all relative. Everyone feels that there's value in anything. So this is 206 illustrations, a 380 page hardback book by Thames and Hudson, and mine is the looks like it's the Jasmine, I believe, picture, and it comes in a really nice hard box. Obviously not the same presentation you would get from Louis Vuitton. I'm sure that if you bought it from the boutique, they'd probably wrap it up in the you know, gift box kind of iteration. But let me go ahead and open this up. So this is the version I got, and also the other covers that they have, at Lemon, and I believe Rose was the other version. I really wanted the Lemon one. I thought that was going to be, I don't know, just a prettier version, but I like this, the side, and I think it will go really nice up there with my other Louis Vuitton book. So it is quite substantial. For some reason, I thought it was a smaller book, and it's not. It's actually quite nice. So the pages, here's like a Lemon, they're cut kind of off center there for each chapter, and I thought that was very interesting. So Lemon from Italy, and it goes into a few pieces of detail, and then yeah, like each segment has this really nice kind of separating page in between in there. And maybe I'll insert some B-roll about the different pages. What I was hoping to see, and we'll see, there's a bunch of just imagery back here, but I thought I saw online that there were actual photos of some of the fragrances themselves and those components. So that's where I got really intrigued about this book, but I'm not seeing it now. So I'll have to go in and take some photos or maybe some B-roll of me flipping through the pages and let you know. But it does give some history about Jacques Cavier. I don't know how to pronounce his last name. I think it's Bellatrude. It's a hyphenated last name, but I know it's Cavier. And he was with a number of different houses prior to LVMH. I know he had done fragrances for YSL. He had done some for Christian Dior. He did some for Tom Ford. And I'm trying to remember all the other fragrance houses he's worked for, but quite a long history of alchemy and being a nose. So I have been a fan of his for, at least for LVMH, for quite a while now. I enjoy his fragrances, and maybe not wanting to wear all of them, but I'm not offended by his fragrances. So that's kind of why I wanted to go ahead and splurge on this particular book and just get some more information about it. Now, again, I don't think it's for everybody. And at some point, it's only been out for a few months now. At some point, I'm sure you're going to find it on the, you know, used market and get yourself a better discount for it. So if you are fascinated by this type of reading material, I would pick it up, because it's an interesting kind of coffee table book to have and look through. There's definitely some information there to learn. But in general, it's just something that if you are a fragrance nerd or want to know about fragrance, it seems like it's a really interesting read, and not anything you have to sit down and read cover to cover, but you can pick up segmentally and, just look at an area of it and, oh, I want to know about this particular ingredient and maybe why they utilize it or why they chose that region. If you can find lemon all over the world, why would you choose lemon only from Italy, or whatever the reasoning may be. So I thought that was kind of fascinating. So that was my latest controversial purchase from Louis Vuitton, and not for everybody, but it's for me, and you're going to see it in my videos behind me. So why not just chat about it? I hope that you'll find it interesting to know about this book. It certainly is interesting to know about the history of the house and knowing their fragrance journey that they have and why they utilize certain ingredients. So I'm very intrigued to find all of that out. But I'm also excited to kind of delve into their art of living section, which most of their city guides are under. Their other books that they've released in the past have usually been more along that avenue and not this fragrance niche. So that's why I was really drawn to picking this particular one up. But I think I'm going to pick up a couple of the city guides as my next venture. So yeah, you'll probably see some more pop up here and there. But anywho, thanks for joining me on my unboxing and reveal of this unique item that I picked up from Louis Vuitton. I'm excited to get in there and check it all out. If you have any questions or want to know more, feel free to send me a comment down below. I will look up whatever you may have questions about, and happy to chat with you. I will see you on my next one. Take care. Bye. I was born in the 1900s. I was born in the late 1900s. Let me spin you a yarn about things before there was Google. There was Ask Jeeves. There was AOL chat rooms. All those things. Oh, bulletin boards. Those are the days. Do I use a clickbaity bag because it didn't come from here? Or do I just say, we'll see.